Well, hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another edition of Inside Career Technical Training. It's high school graduation time, and we've got some great information to share with all of you high school graduating seniors, or maybe parents or grandparents or neighbors of a graduating senior. And here today to talk with me, as usual, is President and CEO of YTI Career Institute, Jim Beloga. And Jim, welcome to the program. Hopefully, you're faring well. I know that we talked last time about virtual learning, how that's going. Things are starting to open back up, but the big topic here today is graduating high school seniors. It's really been an interesting time, and I'm sure a lot of people have been reflecting on what's next. Where do I go? Where do I go with my career? Now I've graduated high school. What's up?
Yeah, no, we're certainly fielding those questions. We have a new student start coming up July 20th, so we are meeting with students and their parents and their other support members of their families. And I think that what we've been seeing is that folks are considering other kinds of close by education, if you will. So we're seeing families decide to maybe put off, going away to a traditional four-year school to do something, maybe a little bit more local.
Because who knows if you can go away? I mean, that's still it's still up for grabs as to whether some of these folks who signed up for four-year colleges are going to even be able to move on campus. So you talk about the economics, you talk about the logistics of that. Maybe things might change, at least maybe even temporarily. It can't hurt.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and what we've been trying to do is wherever we can help. We've been trying to think through what we can do to help students and their families, and I'm excited to announce that we've waived the application fees starting May 13th this year. So again, I mean, it's a little bit that we're doing to
Yeah.
try to help students and their families out, and and again, I think that high school seniors, many of them are really, in a tough spot right now because, like you mentioned, they may have already had plans, but not sure whether or not, schools are going to open in the fall, and, what are going to be the protocols on the campuses, and then I'm sure there's, with the COVID-19, pandemic that we're living through, all of us are living through right now, that's created a lot of uncertainty. So
Mm-hmm.
that uncertainty has led to indecision, and and again, what we're trying to do is make folks aware that career technical education and training is a viable option,
Very
and
viable.
we're right in your backyard, and as you'd mentioned, we have been doing the lecture portion of our educational programs online, and we're hopeful that we'll have students back in the industry modeled labs that we've designed in our campuses in York and in Lancaster, as well as in Altoona. Hopefully soon, so that they can take all that theory and all that knowledge and really start to hone and develop their tangible skills.
And there's other big news coming out of Altoona. That's the recent approval
Approval.
that you got to bring your respiratory therapy program virtually to the folks in that area. But it's not necessarily even in the Altoona area now.
Yeah.
With what the authorization that you've gotten,
Yeah.
you can really go beyond your borders, right?
Yeah, no, we had mentioned, I think, in a previous podcast that we had gotten the respiratory therapy program approved through COARC, which is our programmatic accreditor, our institutional accreditor, ACCSC, and obviously the United States Department of Education as well, along with the Pennsylvania Department of Ed. So we've gotten that approval, and the program is designed where you'll spend about three-quarters of your time in lecture, if you will, online, and then you'll spend the last 25% in a clinical setting, basically honing and developing your skills as a respiratory a therapist or a respiratory technician. And we're really very excited, and we've started to let folks know in various parts of Pennsylvania outside of Altoona, and we do have some interest. We have interested students in Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, and a few other places in Pennsylvania, along with actually some prospective students from Maryland, and and we even have a few students in New Jersey. So the word's getting out that there's this 21-month associates program where you can spend 3/4 of your time learning online, and then what we're doing is we would work with the student depending on where they live to find a clinical site right in their area so that it really becomes a very student-centric opportunity.
Right.
So again, if you live in Baltimore, Maryland, and you take the program online, we'll work to find a clinical site for you in Baltimore. So you never have to come to Altoona, if you will.
And the key point that I just picked up on there is the 2-year associates program. And a lot of places where you take the same type of program, it might be longer, but you're grandfathered in because you've had that respiratory therapy program in Altoona for quite some time. And so that's good news. You're talking about less time, and I think we've all been made more aware of respiratory therapists, especially during this COVID-19 thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Really the critical role that they play in healthcare, not only during a pandemic, but always, right?
No, absolutely. I think it's come to the forefront. I mean, they're, a respiratory care technician or respiratory therapist, have been critical, obviously, in any kind of respiratory virus situation. So, they're much needed, and I think that there's really solid job growth, job demand growth for respiratory technicians, and yeah, we are excited that we have a 2-year program, like you mentioned, 21 months. So it's actually a little bit less than 2 years, and it is grandfathered in, and the students who graduate from our program will sit for the same national certification exam that somebody might have to go to a 4-year school for. So we're quite excited about that, and again, it's a really neat program, and every time I'm up in that area and visit that campus, I'm always amazed because I'm always learning something new when I show up and spend time with students.
And let's reiterate again that, starting in May, as a result of COVID-19, you also said that what you're doing is you're waiving the application fee for students signing up for the July 20th start. So that's right around the corner. Again, whether it's respiratory therapy or some of the other programs that are offered at YTI, the veterinary program, you've got the culinary program, you've got so many things that are so intriguing and so interesting there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, and again, we're excited. I mean, we've got medical assisting, dental assisting, medical billing and coding, health information technology. We've got criminal justice, business operations management. You mentioned our culinary and our pastry arts program, our vet tech program. We've got respiratory care, technician program here in Altoona, and then we can't forget about the trades. The governors in Pennsylvania sort of defined essential positions. If you want to become an electrician or an HVAC tech or work in electronics, those have been deemed to be essential positions that require those folks to go to work. And then lastly, I mentioned the healthcare, but lastly we've got information technology. So we've got a computer security systems program as well, which has also been deemed to be essential. So we're excited, and I would encourage folks who are listening to the podcast, students and parents and grandparents and uncles and aunts and everybody else who's involved with a prospective student to go check out the website at yti.edu. There's a lot of great information on there, and we do have folks, if you want to reach us via email or text or on the phone, we're available to have those conversations in whatever form or mode of communication you you want to
Well, and
interact
that's
with.
just it too. Is I know that the folks at YTI will see you through the process, from making sure that you get to feel and see what the campus looks like, however you want to do that. Whether there you've got some financial things you want to go over, you've got a person for that. Throughout the course of your training and your education, you have people that see you through that process. To the employment piece, with your career fairs and things like that. So it's not like you're in this alone. You sign up and good luck with that. You really do have people that care. And, I know that a lot of your success is based on placement for real essential jobs, and that's what you get. So, Jim Beloga, this is great information. Again, if you're out there and you are graduating high school senior, congratulations to you. Congratulations to your family, your support team. It takes a village, right, to get these kids to
Yes.
graduate from high school. So it's a great time. It really is something that you should be very, very proud of. And for anybody out there listening to this program and wants more information, it's a really short website. No reason not to remember it. yti.edu. Well, thank you, Jim Beloga, President and CEO of. Well, thank you, Jim Beloga, President and CEO of YTI Career Institute. Another great conversation with useful information, which is what this Inside Career Technical Training Program is all about. And we want to thank you for listening.